Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, honorable foreign minister, present dignitaries, fellow colleagues and friends, and those of us watching us through live, dear viewers, good evening, and we welcome you to this special webinar titled Political Leadership Then and Now, which is a special program to mark the completion of 2 years of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's current tenure as the head of government, and also to keep our celebrations ongoing for the birth centenary of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. I particularly thank our friends from the foreign missions who have kindly gave up their time and joined us today for this special program. I will be introducing them in the latter parts of the program when they also will be addressing this function. But before that, to officially kick off this program, I would like to request Dr. Shammi Ahmed, International Affairs Secretary, Central Working Committee, Bangladesh Awami League, for her welcome remarks. Dr. Shammi Ahmed.
Thank you, Farad. Excellencies and Honorable Foreign Minister, the People's Republic of Bangladesh, dignitaries, newcomers from various embassies and high commissioners, my colleagues and viewers, good evening. Warm welcome to this webinar on Bangladesh Awami League lead government, 2 years complete and the return of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, on 10th January 1973. In this webinar, we would like to discuss the various milestones achieved by our League government, reassessing the development goal of our father of the nation. There is a video documentary summarizing the progress and development during the tenure of Awami League government enjoyed. We are glad to launch the booklet on our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib, the global leaders, transcending time and boundaries. The tag of new tiger of Asia and role model for South Asia set and good example of progress made by the nation in the socio-economic and geopolitical fronts over the last few years during the tenure of Awami League-led government under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister and Party President Sheikh Hasina MP. Since being re-elected, the government has ensured sustainable economic growth and maintained incredible strides in poverty alleviation, women empowerment, education, and health sector. Over the last 2 years, Bangladesh achieved sustained growth led by the increasing export remittances, net foreign direct investment, and infrastructural investments. The nationwide survey by the International Republican Institute's Center for Insight and Survey Research conducted last year revealed that the Awami League government has strong public support with successes in economic development, notably through infrastructure. Despite the projected growth trend, Bangladesh could cross the hurdles of pandemic with enviable growth. According to a report in The Economist published last year, Bangladesh ranked 9th in the list of relatively safe countries during the corona disaster. The nation recorded an impressive GDP growth of 5.24% in the financial year 2019-20 despite the pandemic impact. Graduating from LDC status signifies that a country's per capita gross national income, human assets, the resilience to economic and environmental shocks are robust enough to enable sustainable development. Bangladesh is being considered worldwide as a role model for development in various sectors, including education, health, agriculture, and information technology. With the continuation of the path of development, Bangladesh will be a developed country by 2021 under the leadership of our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. We could not appreciate enough for the wise decision taken by our Honorable Prime Minister Hasina Hasina to continue the Padma Bridge project with our own way, even after deep that with realization of this bridge along with economic benefit, the nation has gained long needed confidence to go ahead with our journey to become a developed country. The bridge is one of the major milestones achieved. During the centenary of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, this is a fitting gift from his daughter to the of Bangladesh, as it will change Bangladesh's socio-economic structure, but also positively affected the country's economy. Bangladesh government, under the leadership of Honorable Minister, titled as Mother of Humanity, for the systematic placement of Rohingya refugee at camps in Cox's Bazar. Honorable Prime Minister has ensured the better placement residence for more than 1 million Rohingyas in Bhasanchar, with modern facilities and arrangement of economic empowerment within the Chor territory. In spite of our continuous effort, we would call upon the international community and partners to support Rohingyas repatriation. The Ashram 2 project aimed at rehabilitating homeless, landless people of the country, providing them with well-constructed houses with basic facilities. It is truly remarkable endeavor that has been initiated in commemoration with Mujibur, making the birth centenary of Bangabandhu. Under the leadership of Sheikh Hasina, we are progressing well towards the goal envisioned by our father of the nation, Bangabandhu, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. United with the spirit and the ideology of Bangabandhu, we must continue our collective efforts to build a secular and democratic Bangladesh. Let this in our pledge on the month of homecoming of Bangabandhu. I appeal to everyone to pray to the Almighty Allah for the salvation of the departed soul of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Once again, I would like to express my heartiest thanks to all attending this webinar. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu, Joy Sheikh Hasina, long live Bangladesh. Thank you all.
Thanks to Dr. Shammi Ahmed for her welcome remarks. Friends, excellencies, and dear viewers as well, I'd like to flag one point that was mentioned by Dr. Shammi, that the government of Bangladesh, due to the disruption that we faced last year as a result of the corona pandemic, has extended the time frame of the Mujib Borsho celebrations to 16th December 2021, which means that from 26th March to 16th of December of 2021, we will be parallelly celebrating both the birth centenary of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, as well as the 50 years of independence, of our glorious independence. So without further ado, let us go into the contents that we prepared for you for this program. From the International Affairs Subcommittee, we will start off with a video which will give you in much details how Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has tried to lead Bangladesh from the front during the corona pandemic. And following the video, we will then be going for the launch of our special memorial publication. So I would ask my colleague Ripon Mondol to now play the video for our guests as well as our viewers.
"2020 was a significant year for Bangladesh. The country and its people were all gearing up to celebrate the birth centenary of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and the golden anniversary of Bangladesh's independence. The nation's mood was optimistic. 2019 had been a good year, both economically and socially. The first year of Sheikh Hasina's fourth and third consecutive term was one of progress and development and record-setting firsts. With 8.1% economic growth, $2.8 billion in foreign direct investment, $18.3 billion in remittance earnings, and $40.5 billion in export earnings, the country's booming economy resulted in greater prosperity for the people. Poverty rate declined to 21.8% in 2019, while extreme poverty rate was reduced to 11.3%. 2020 started off with a positive vibe, but the pandemic came calling in March. Not just Bangladesh, the entire world was caught somewhat off guard. The first confirmed case of the coronavirus in Bangladesh was detected on 8th March 2020. Immediately, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina took strong charge of the situation. She ordered that all public gatherings, including Mujibur events, be suspended. To contain the virus and ensure physical distancing, the Awami League government announced a general holiday. Shut down land, sea and airports, imposed restrictions on road, rail and water travel, deployed administrative, law enforcement and security personnel. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina conducted a series of video conferences with local officials to get a snapshot of what was required at the grassroots. Relevant plans, strategies and protocols were put in place with the help of the technical experts and public health specialists. In a record time, the Awami League government recruited 2,000 doctors and 5,000 nurses to ensure treatment of COVID-19 patients. 167 PCR laboratories were set up across Bangladesh with the daily capacity to test up to 20,000 samples. Major infrastructural work was done to enhance the capacity of the healthcare system to handle the COVID patients. 10,381 general beds and almost 600 ICU beds were dedicated for the COVID patients across the country. The public sector alone arranged isolation for 100,000 people and institutional quarantine for more than 600,000 people so far. Around 3 million people received health advice through 3 dedicated mobile helplines of the government. After meeting the demand of frontline workers for personal protective equipment, the country exported PPEs worth more than $500 million by the end of July 2020. How Bangladesh fared in the months ahead is clear from the December 2020 Bloomberg rankings of countries for COVID resilience. The country was ranked as one of the top 20 countries in terms of performance. During the holidays, the government was faced with the mammoth task of conducting one of the largest humanitarian relief operations in the country's history. Things were exacerbated by the devastation caused in several districts by Cyclone Amphan. Food relief and cash handouts were distributed to a total of 35.4 million people by the government. Additionally, the Awami League with its own resources provided cash support worth approximately $1.2 million and food support to 12.5 million people. Following a call from party president Sheikh Hasina, workers of Awami League and associated organizations helped farmers with harvesting their crops when a temporary shortage of labor was faced.
অনেকে হাত পাততে আসবে না, অনেকে চাইতে পারবে না, তারা যেন কষ্টে না থাকে, তাদের বাড়িতে বাড়িতে খাবার পৌঁছে দেওয়ার ব্যবস্থা করতে হবে।
Various incentives and stimulus were provided to farmers in the national budget. As a result of the special measures for agriculture, despite the pandemic and the cyclone, Bangladesh did not face any shortages of food. After 66 days of continuous holidays, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina decided to open up the economy. To offset the adverse economic and social impacts of the COVID-19 crisis, the Awami League government, led by Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, announced a total of 23 stimulus packages amounting to $14.6 billion or 4.44% of the GDP. These packages took into account the whole of society, including returning overseas workers, large industries, small and medium enterprises, unemployed youths, rural population, etc. By November, more than 40% finance of the stimulus packages were disbursed. A total of 7.6 million firms, organizations, entrepreneurs, and other beneficiaries got loan facilities under these schemes. These schemes helped the businesses survive the worst of the pandemic. For instance, approximately $1.3 billion were provided to 1,992 export-oriented industries as easy loans by the government. This directly helped save the jobs of more than 5 million workers. On 30 June 2020, the national budget worth almost $70 billion was passed, with special emphasis on pandemic-related recovery initiatives. Allocation for social safety initiatives were increased by 28.5% to ensure that people who successfully graduated out of poverty under the Awami League's policies in the preceding 11 years did not slide back into poverty again. The previous 2 terms of the Prime Minister saw widespread digitization. The Digital Bangladesh initiatives enabled the government to carry out their business despite being physically distanced. With 168 mobile phones and 110 internet connection users, citizens could access over 600 government services online from home. The government's dedicated website and apps for coronavirus enabled citizens to keep abreast of all relevant updates real-time. Financial inclusion measures such as mobile financial services enabled e-commerce and F-commerce to thrive during the shutdowns. In July 2020 alone, the total amount of transactions via mobile transactions crossed $70 million. Between July and September 2020, in revenues. Compared to neighboring countries and those with similar socio-economic situations, Bangladesh did much well economically. Bangladesh managed to achieve foreign exchange reserves past the $43 billion threshold for the first time before the end of the year, thanks in part to the government's 2% cash incentive support. Earning from remittances stood at $21.9 billion at the end of 2020. The Awami League government also doubled its diplomatic efforts to mitigate the human and economic costs from the return of migrant workers. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's social justice-focused government also announced 2 packages worth almost $295 million to rehabilitate the returnees. COVID-19 severely affected exports during the second half of the last fiscal year, that is, between January and June 2020. Nonetheless, Bangladesh managed to bounce back soon to earn a total of $33.67 billion from exports in the 2019-2020 fiscal year and earned $19.23 billion in the first half of the current fiscal year. Even during the pandemic, the Awami League government was mindful of the need to continue the works of the mega projects. This paid off when, on 10th December, the 41st and last span of the Podda Bridge was installed, thereby offering a full view of the dream project for the first time. Since October, work has been moving ahead at full speed on the other mega projects like the Podda Bridge Rail Project, Dhaka Metro Rail, the Kornopuli Tunnel, the Rooppur Nuclear Power Project, etc. Currently, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and the Awami League government have embarked on a comprehensive program for mass vaccination against COVID-19. It should be remembered that even during the pandemic, the Awami League government was successful in carrying out a mass vitamin A vaccination campaign among almost 21 million children of Bangladesh. In November 2020, Bangladesh signed a contract for procuring 30 million doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca corona vaccine from Serum Institute of India. Additionally, the Government of India, as a testament to the current bilateral ties between the two countries, sent Bangladesh another 2 million doses of the same vaccine as gift on 21st January. Bangladesh is also set to receive 68 million doses of corona vaccine from Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, by the end of 2021 under the COVAX arrangement. Other viable options are also being constantly considered. A policy is being formulated for the private sector to bring and administer corona vaccines commercially too. In the international arena, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been vocal about the rights of the least developed and developing countries to get vaccines at affordable prices and at the same time as the developed countries. While Bangladesh continues to fight off COVID-19 with various recovery initiatives, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's government has not lost sight of the future. In December 2020, the Awami League government approved Bangladesh's 8th five-year plan for the period of July 2020 to June 2025. This was preceded by the approval of the country's second perspective plan 2021-2041 in February 2020. The 5 and 20-year plans aim to make Bangladesh a poverty-free, prosperous country in phases. Despite many countries commencing mass vaccination drives, the world is yet to defeat COVID, and the resulting challenges are likely to remain in the foreseeable future. As 2020 has clearly shown, the quality of leadership is the determining factor during a global crisis. People of Bangladesh are thankful that they have Sheikh Hasina, a leader who is not afraid to accept challenges and to face them head on.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, dear viewers. We hope you enjoyed this informative video that we tried to put on as a means of showing our respect to the Prime Minister's hard work through very difficult times last year. This particular video will be put up on our Facebook, our YouTube, as in the party's official Facebook and the party's official YouTube channel by tomorrow morning. So you can watch and use this informative video as much and in any way as you like from these two platforms. And we will also send you with the participants who have connected with us today. We'll also email you a copy of it. Next up, we have the launching of a special memorial publication to commemorate the 100th birth anniversary of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. I would now like to request the Honorable Foreign Minister, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen MP, to kindly launch this special publication for all of us.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Dr. Shami Ahmed, and also especially Barrister Shah Ali Farhad. This video is excellent, but only one area I will mention you, that extreme poverty is 10.5, and as per the government reports, not 11.5. So you can look into it. And I'm so pleased to be here, and I have the privilege to launch the special memorial publication for Bangabandhu for the Mujib year by the International Affairs Subcommittee. Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib, the title of this special memorial is Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib, the global leader transcending time and boundaries. Very appropriately done. Thank you very much. And it is this book, I hopefully will be available to all of us so that we can be enriched. In this year of Mujib Bosho, while observing the 100th anniversary of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's birth centenary, at the same time, this is a special year. We are lucky that we can also observe the 50th anniversary of the independence of Bangladesh. Although because of the COVID, we had to do many things through virtually, this one also through virtually, because basic reason is Bangabandhu always wanted to look forward for the welfare of people. He never wanted that the people's welfare in any way be jeopardized. And same characteristics and the gene is also inside the life of these two daughters, the surviving two daughters. Our Prime Minister, the dynamic leader Sheikh Hasina, and so all her sister, the both of them wants to see that the welfare of people are not being compromised, and therefore we have to make a lot of compromises in our Mujib Bosho program and also in the Independence Day program. Here it is one of the example. We are publishing this memorial to this particular special book virtually in order so that we don't spread the virus to others when we are more conscious about the welfare of people. This is an excellent book. I have not the chance to read it, but I'm sure since it has been done and Farhad is involved in it, I have no doubt that it would be an excellent the memoir for everyone to understand. This is a special year, to understand Bangabandhu, his sacrifices, and many people don't know about why Bangabandhu has to go through all the tortures except Nelson Mandela. I think there is no other global leader who has suffered so much of imprisonment during his this 24 years partnership with Pakistan. He was in the jail more than half of that period, and that means the whole family were deprived from the blessings from the association of him. Anyway, we are lucky we had a great leader. We are lucky we got a great leader like Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and also a great leader like Sheikh Hasina, who Bangabandhu not only gave us the new independent sovereign country, he also gave us a hope, a dream for a better Bangladesh, a prosperous Bangladesh. And he could not achieve it, but he gave the dream, and his daughter is now is directing as to how to reach. And by 2041, we hope we will be achieving his dream, Sonar Bangla, a golden Bangladesh, a land of prosperous, happy, peaceful Bangladesh. With these few words, I have the special to launch this special memorial publication for Mujib from the International Affairs Subcommittee of Bangladesh, Awami League. Thank you very much. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangla, Joy Bangla.
Thank you, sir. I will keep the momentum going and just give you a small introduction to this publication. Let me first tell you that we will be sending out the PDF versions to all the participants who have connected with us today, as well as you can find this particular publication in its PDF and ebook formats in our website, the party website, www.albd.org. I'll repeat it, www.albd.org from tomorrow morning. And as Honorable Foreign Minister has already mentioned, We will also go for the printed copies very soon, and we will be very happy to send you a copy or two. If you need more, let us know, and we will be mailing them, couriering them out to the embassy addresses as well as the office addresses of the other participants. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very introductory text. It is not meant to be an exhaustive material or resource on the illustrious political life of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. That is an audacity that we won't even attempt to make. It is an introductory text. It has his brief life sketch. It has its, as a gallery, we have put on the images of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman as he represented Bangladesh or his party before independence in the world stage. We have put on 4 translated versions of some of his most important speeches. It was a very difficult job because, as you know, Bangabandhu, dubbed by Newsweek in April 1971 as the poet of politics, his speeches are, it's difficult to select a few, but we tried to do that because the 7th March speech is considered one of the greatest political speeches of all time. As you know, UNESCO has already recognized it as a part of our world documentary heritage. We have put that speech on, as well as the speech that Bangabandhu gave after his return from the dark confines of Pakistani prison on 10th January 1972, which was a very passionate speech where he talked about his love for his people and the sorrow he felt at the destruction and violence that was faced by the Bengalis in 1971 during the Liberation War. We have also given the translated version of the speech of Bangabandhu on 4th November 1972. Please remember that this is not a full speech. We gave you some of the most important excerpts from the speech. There he talks about the fundamentals of the state of Bangladesh. In particular, he talks about Bengali nationalism, he talks about democracy, he talks about socialism and social justice, and he talks about, which one did I miss? I think I missed the democracy one. So democracy, Bengali nationalism, secularism, and all these 4 principles are very brilliantly highlighted by Bangabandhu as to why he chose this particular 4 principles as the fundamental pillars of the new state of Bangladesh. And the final speech that we have for you in this publication is the one that he gave at the United Nations General Assembly on the 25th of September in 1974, which was the first such speech by any Bengali head of government or head of state. And it was at that level the first time Bangla had been used as a language in the great halls of the United Nations General Assembly. We have also put on some of the memorable quotes by different leaders from around the world, both contemporary and as well as contemporary of Bangabandhu's time, and some of his quotes given during various speeches. So basically what we want, what our aim was in compiling this publication is that you get the general details about his life, and we hope that this would encourage you to undertake further research on the life of this remarkable gentleman and this iconic global leader of the 20th century. Ripon, I think we can stop the screen sharing now. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time and patience as we went through the video and the booklet. It's now time for the speeches part. So I would now like to request the Honorable Foreign Minister, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momin MP, to give his speech as the chief guest of today's webinar.
Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Shami Ahmed, the Barrister Shah Ali Farhad, Ambassador Muhammad Jamir. I could see the faces of the High Commissioner of India, China, and so also I could see Turkey. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. This is a great occasion to launch the special memorial publication on Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, an iconic leader, a charismatic leader. One should remember the concept of Bangladesh was initially designed and developed and promoted by one single man, and it is Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. And for that, he had to suffer a lot. He was a dynamic person. a person who understands people of Bangladesh. He understands the needs of Bangladesh. Therefore, he fight for them. He fought for entire his life. During his entire life, he stood for justice, fairness, and he moved every movement was legal. He never did something illegal. Throughout his life, his basic characteristics to achieve justice and for people and end discrimination and disparity and right to vote, right to food, right to shelter. We are very lucky now that what Bangabandhu was working for and suffered for, right to vote, right to the freedom of speech, right to shelter, right to food, currently under the leadership of Sheikh Hasina, his daughter, the able daughter, we have achieved right to vote. It's a democratic country, and everybody can cast their vote without fear and favor. And secondly, we have achieved the thing which was unthinkable. You see, the plenty of food for all people around. For years, since 1950s, 1950 onwards, Bangladesh is known as a food deficit country. And nobody ever thought that we could achieve the goal of self-sufficiency in food. But it is Sheikh Hasina who was determined to bring self-sufficiency in food. And because of our determination and prudent policy strategy, we could achieve self-sufficient food. Now we have achieved our right to food and everybody is happy with it. The other one was right to have a shelter. In this Mujibur, Sheikh Hasina started a movement. It started a movement to provide homes to the homeless. And already she has planned to provide 886,000 homes to the homeless. This is a remarkable thing that she's doing during this Mujibur. When I was told that I have to tell what challenges we faced when COVID came, immediately after COVID became known to all of us and became serious, we faced a lot of challenges. In the foreign ministry, one big challenge was immediately after the COVID, since we are very much dependent on export, our garment export was basically shut down. Many of our standing orders were cancelled. So we had to speak to those friendly countries so that they continue this supply chain. Thanks God, it has resumed and our garment is fine and is working well. We had other issues was the expat laborers. We have 1.23 million, 12.30 million people works abroad, the Bangladeshi expat workers, and they sent remittance, this year they have sent remittance maximum. Now these people, immediately after the COVID, many countries start since the business was closed down, they were asking us to send them back. Thanks God, we spoke to those countries, friendly countries, and eventually many of them came back home, but through a phase-wise, not in one day, and it really helped us. In addition, many of those friendly countries came forward. We needed two things to them. One is that while they are in your country, they are a part of your development process. And therefore, we want that no one should die of starvation while they are in your country. And the other one, they should be provided with medical facilities if they get, the COVID. And those friendly countries honored those commitments. They do provide. And along with our government also sent money to provide food, even to those who are. The other one is here, a lockdown. We had 66 days of lockdown, and naturally, those are poor people, they are income earners, they have faced a lot of problems. At the time, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina reminded us that no one should die of starvation. And she said that while you are arranging this, the ICU unit, testing center, these ventilators and other, you should be mindful of providing essential food and essentials to our countrymen. And we did. We did one of the massive program of providing food and other helps to our people. And it is amazing. A country this whole country rose to the occasion under the leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. And I must tell, we showed a perfect example of good governance. Not anywhere there was much corruption of the distribution of food. Everyone got the food on time, and people went door to door and provided food. It's the government official, the police forces, our political party leaders, the workers, the students, they all come, rose to the occasion, and they did a yeoman's job. We are thankful to the countrymen. At the same time, we have other problems. Other problem was these, our crop. And because of the COVID, there was not much labor force available to harvest the crop. At the appeal of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, our people came out of their doors. People from many places, students and others, went to the farmland and started doing the harvesting. They did an excellent job, and no wonder we had more food than we need, and therefore we could provide food to the doors to each people in the country. I think this is a historic event that none of the countrymen, died of starvation. This is because of Sheikh Hasina. Not only that, she also wanted to have their domestic market. The market should function, and people should have some money in their pocket, and therefore we increase the social, social program, the social safety net program, social security assistance program. It increased, as Minister Farhad has given the number, it increased to 28.5%. Actually, it increased from 79,000 crore to 95,000 crore, highest in the recorded history of Bangladesh. And money was also given directly through the internet system to around 5 million households. So we did an excellent job. And also to provide, the medical service, we created many units of these, and also employed 5,000 additional doctors and 5,000 additional nurses and 2,000 doctors. One thing during this COVID came up. The country has got a lot of competency. Initially, we are facing problems, shortage of medical equipment, masks and others, but our garment factory owners, they, through the ingenuity, within a short time, started producing PPPs, masks, name it, and within short time, our supply was enough. Not only that, they produced quality PPEs. We exported 6.5 million pieces of quality PPEs even into the United States of America. We provided them a large number of equipment during this COVID. And we are lucky that many of our friendly countries, they came forward. They also help us with essentials, the COVID essentials, and we also help many of our friendly countries and with essentials. Particularly, I must say, even India came forward. Now they have provided us vaccine before many of the developed countries yet to get it. We are thankful to them. And they also donated 2 million, the vaccines as a gift, and the rest of 5 million, 30 million we bought it from them. Also, China came even with a team of doctors to help us out, and we are thankful to them. We also sent out our team of doctors to Maldives, our team of doctors to the Kuwait and other places, and we also sent our equipment and PPPs, all those during the bad time to our friendly countries, even in some of the developed countries. Prime Minister came up with a wonderful program, the stimulus package. This is the largest, $14.6 billion, got the 4.4% of our GDP, which is the highest in whole of Asia. This is the highest, the stimulus package. And the result is none in our, the garment factories lost their job. None in many of our areas. Every sector got some benefits of the stimulus package. And economy ran as usual. No wonder Bangladesh did very well in terms of GDP. Even under COVID, our GDP growth rate was 5.4%, highest in Asia. And this is a miracle, because many of the intellectuals and scholars were saying that our GDP may not increase more than 1.38%. falsifying all of them, it increased 5.4%, thanks to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, her leadership and the targeted approach. Not only that, the scholars and experts were saying due to COVID, there will be 5 to 10 million people will die in Bangladesh. I must report to you the total death rate till today, cumulative death rate till today is not more than 8,000. And yesterday, the death rate was only 7 people died, and out of 14,000 tests, only 500, less than 4% people were found infected with the COVID. In the area of COVID, as you have seen in the video, that we stood 20th in the world in terms of managing this COVID, and number 1 in South Asia in efficient management of the COVID. We did pretty well in that. Now, Mujibur, we had many programs on Mujibur, but because of the COVID, we are doing most of them virtually. And I should say, it is the leadership. Leadership matters, and his example is Bangladesh, and the example is Sheikh Hasina. Because of our leadership and prudent, the targeted approaches, the country is doing well. Otherwise, it might end up like those that were forecasting that there will be 5 to 10 million death, or it will have a negative growth rate. We overcome them, these challenges. But it's not over. A country alone cannot do it. We could do it because we have good friends, and through participation and through collaboration, we can do better. We want to do better, and we have been, from the day one, we joined all the countries in the world, and our Prime Minister had made it a strong argument that COVID vaccine is a public, vaccine, and it should be available to all the people, rich and the poor, without discrimination. Because we believe that if there is one person is, infected, then you are not safe. To be safe, we need to cure everyone of this particular, sorry, I was taking some biscuits and looks like it went down. Anyway, so thank for your time, and we have still many programs on Mujibur. Many are on virtual. Of late, we are making hybrid, both virtual as well as physical. And we will continue to do this. I'm thankful to the International Committee, International Affairs Subcommittee of Awami League in organizing this event. It is time in these 2 years, the last year and 2 years, there is so much of achievement of Bangladesh. At the same time, there is so much story to tell about Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, a unique person in the world, and his quotations, his lives, and his entire, the approaches he took, these are imitable for others. And it is time for us. He has created the country. He has given responsibility to us. He has given a vision to us. And now his daughter is trying to achieve those visions. It is our responsibility also to achieve his vision, his dream of a Sonar Bangla. It is our responsibility to spread the message of Bangabandhu. He believed in peace and stability across nations. He said a country cannot develop without peace and stability. We must look forward to it, and we should do our best on our own. He wanted to have Sonar Manush for Sonar Bangla, golden human being for golden Bangladesh. Without good people, you cannot achieve his goal. And therefore, we also commit ourselves to be committed to help humanity, to help Bangladesh, and we must look forward to the welfare of our common people. That's our vow, that we must work together in partnership, in collaboration, so that the whole region, Asia, becomes, people of this whole region is happier and lives in peace and stability and in prosperity. With these few years, I leave it to you for the father, continue the discussion. There are so many luminaries. I'm thankful to all of you because you have given time to attend this event, and maybe we should listen to them, record those, and publish another book on those, so that in future we can look into it. Thank you very much. Thank you again to the organizers, particularly Farhad and Shamim, and those who participated. Excellency, thank you very much. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu.
Thank you to the Honorable Foreign Minister. He's always very encouraging, has encouraging words for us, and which inspires us to work even harder. And before we go into our open session part, where we'll be asking our friends to contribute in the discussion, let me just, for the viewers at home, let me just give a small summary of who is joining us today. So we are very pleased to have a number of our friends and partners present in this webinar today. I'll just look at the list and go by it. So starting with, I'd like to thank His Excellency, the Ambassador of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, for joining us today. We have with us His Excellency, the High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh with us. We also have His Excellency, the Ambassador of Algeria to Bangladesh present with us. We have His Excellency, the Turkish Ambassador, and we also have His Excellency, the Ambassador of China, the People's Republic of China to Bangladesh. And we are also joined by our friends from the foreign missions in the UK High Commission. I can see Mr. Zaki and Mr. Ejaz has joined us, and we thank you for that. We have with us, we have the resident coordinator for the Aga Khan Development Network with us. Thank you, Mr. Munir Merali. We have with us Sabine Hinton from the US Embassy. And we also have, I am extremely sorry that I missed out that the ambassador, His Excellency, the Ambassador of Vietnam to Bangladesh is also present with us today. And that's about it. I mean, that's all I can see. And if I have missed anyone that I could not find in the list, I apologize in advance. So with that, we'd like to open the floor, and we would ask our friends if they have any comments for the program today, especially the Prime Minister leadership over the last 2 years or the Mujibur celebrations. But before that, I'd like to take the personal opportunity to take a thread from the speech of the Honorable Foreign Minister and thank our friends and partners from all around the world who have stood by Bangladesh during its time of need, as they have stood by many of our neighboring countries. So I'd like to thank in particular the Honorable Government of the People's Republic of China, represented here, of course, by His Excellency the Ambassador, who were very kind enough to send Bangladesh emergency supplies of personal protective equipments during the initial phases of the COVID crisis in Bangladesh and also all across the world. I would, of course, like to thank the High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh for his government's role in sending Bangladesh 2 million doses of the corona vaccine as gift, as well as, of course, sending out the gifts to our other neighbors in South Asia and beyond. And everyone else, if we have missed anything, so our partners in North America, Europe, Australasia, South America, Africa, we are grateful for the friendship and the contributions that you have shown to a country like Bangladesh at its time of need, as well as the global time of need. With that, I would just like to ask you that if you want to give a speech, either you can show a hand or you can press the digital hand button to indicate that you'd like to speak. I was notified earlier that the ambassador, His Excellency, the Ambassador of China to Bangladesh would like to say a few words. So we will start off with Excellency, the Ambassador of China to Bangladesh.
Well, can you hear me? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Great. Well,
Yes.
Excellencies, thank you very much for inviting me to this very, very important program. And it's a great privilege for me to be part of it. And though the Awami League-led government is only less than halfway into its current tenure, what this government has achieved is really inspiring. In the last 2 years or indeed in the last decade. And thanks to the strong leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, what we just learned from the video, even when there is a global pandemic raging on, Bangladesh is doing an excellent job, both economically and pandemic-wise. And as I often mentioned from time to time recently, I feel that there is even broader scope for cooperation between Bangladesh and China now, and of course, with the international community as well. In the coming years, and I look forward to work with all my colleagues in the Awami League, in the Bangladesh government, and especially with the International Affairs Subcommittee of Awami League to promote the future development of both countries of ours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of China to Bangladesh. We are very grateful for the friendship and partnership that we have with your country, and also the friendship and partnership which exists between the Communist Party of China and Bangladesh Awami League. With that, I saw a hand earlier during the speech of the Chinese ambassador. I saw a digital hand, but which is no longer there. So shall I ask for myself? I would like, because he always participates and is very active
Indian
in all
High
our
Commissioner
webinars.
raised his hand. Indian
Yes.
High Commissioner, Durraswamy.
So it's a pleasure to ask His Excellency Mr. Durraswamy, the High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, who has, I would like to add, a personal connection to Bangladesh as well. We'd like to hear a few words from His Excellency Durraswamy.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here and to, of course, greet the Honorable Foreign Minister, first of all, and our friends at the Awami League International Affairs Subcommittee, in particular, the very distinguished Ambassador Mohammad Zamir, and my dear friend and sister, Dr. Shami Ahmed, and all of you, of course, and first of all, for this program, and for that outstanding video, and for the book that we look forward to reading. Congratulations on the event. But more than that, congratulations on what has really been the delivery of the commitments of the Awami League government, led so ably by Her Excellency Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. This has really been a remarkable culmination of effort, initiative, intention, and most of all, dynamism. This has been a remarkable set of years in which Bangladesh's enormous potential is being realized, and we, as your civilization, sister civilization, neighbor, and closest friends, we rejoice in your successes. Let me make three very quick points here. First of all, congratulations on this important opportunity that the second anniversary of the government represents. Even more so, congratulations on the birth centenary of the great Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and on 50 years of liberation. Second, I want to reiterate our commitment. The strength of our relationship is unshakable. As we say, it is a relationship that transcends even strategic partnerships. And we see this as an opportunity for us to build further upon the basis of strong people-to-people ties, developmental partnership, and of course, as we've seen, partnership in health, and through the development of the bridge that we've built in this time of crisis, through supporting each other through the corona crisis, looking forward to opportunities to do more in vaccinating all of South Asia, recognizing, as the Honorable Foreign Minister said, no one is safe from the virus unless everyone is safe from it at the same time. So in enlightened self-interest, all of us need to vaccinate ourselves. And finally, of course, I'm affirming, most of all, our commitment to work together as closely as possible in commemoration of these important anniversaries that are coming up ahead. As Our Prime Minister has repeatedly said Bangabandhu is, of course, Jatir Pita of Bangladesh, but he's also a hero for us in India. And we look forward to being part of the celebrations at your direction and your advice of the centenary of Bangabandhu, of 50 years of Bangladesh's liberation, and most of all, in maintaining the idea, the spirit of the values of Bangabandhu as is being realized by Her Excellency the Prime Minister. Let me thank you, and let me also greet all my colleagues, the distinguished ambassadors of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the People's Republic of China, Algeria, and Turkey, who are here with us, and of course, the Vietnamese ambassador and other colleagues from diplomatic missions. Thank you for having us on this important opportunity. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu, and Bharat Bangladesh Maitri Chiranjeevi Hobe. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Fantastic words. And I think we can all take some moment to think about what you have said about jointly celebrating, taking joint initiatives with individual countries regarding the 50 years of our independence. We were just having a discussion with our friends from the UK High Commission the other day that 2022 would mark the February of 2022 would mark the 50th anniversary of the diplomatic relations between Bangladesh and the UK. So the International Affairs Subcommittee is open for any suggestions that you guys may have in order to make sure that we can make it as much international as possible. So next up, we will go to someone who has always been present in all of our programs since he has joined his current position as the Turkish ambassador to Bangladesh, His Excellency Mustafa Turan. So without further ado, His Excellency Turan.
Thank you, Mr. Farhat, Honorable Foreign Minister, Dr. Shami Ahmed, colleagues, distinguished participants. I'm also very pleased to be invited to participate in this webinar to mark the completion of the 2 years of Awami League-led government. Like previous colleagues, I also would like to note with congratulations for the centenary of the Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and 50th anniversary of the independence of Bangladesh. The achievements of Bangladesh under the able leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina for the last 11 years in particular has been well documented, not only in the video that we have watched together this evening, but also by the international organizations and international financial institutions worldwide. So there's no need to re-emphasize those achievements. They are very well observed. During this time, Bangladesh has become a model for sustainable development in the world and a rising star, as I always say, in South Asia. One characteristic of Bangladesh that astonishes all diplomats and international observers is its people's resilience. It was during the last 1 year that this resilience has been most visible, when Bangladesh faced not only COVID-19 pandemic, but also cyclones and long-lasting floods. So we really need to study well how Bangladesh is becoming so resilient. I arrived in Bangladesh in January last year, just before the first case of COVID-19 occurred on March the 8th. And there were many doomsday scenarios, and none of these scenarios really happened. Instead, Bangladesh kept growing and its economy has been growing, providing livelihoods for millions of people. This, of course, was thanks to the strong leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. And during this difficult time, Turkey stood by Bangladesh, as we always do, during these difficult times too, by providing food assistance, in particular during the holy month of Ramadan, as well as a full cargo flight of medical equipment assistance. These are just tokens of our solidarity with Bangladesh. And just a few words, this economic growth obviously also attracts a lot of attention. And as you know, our foreign ministers have exchanged reciprocal visits recently between our countries. And we again reciprocally inaugurated our new embassy compounds. Opening new embassies in countries are not just insignificant events. They are signs of investment and commitment to better relations. And I'm very pleased to report that there is a growing interest among the Turkish business communities and investors in Bangladesh, and that is a clear sign of any government's success to attract new businesses and investments. So with these words, I would like to congratulate the Awami League-led government under Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. And once again, thank you very much for inviting me to this event.
Thank you, Your Excellency, and a point well made about the support to Bangladesh during the time of need. And we thank through you, we will thank, of course, the government in Turkey, especially led by President Erdogan, His Excellency President Erdogan, as well as the people of Turkey, with whom Bangladesh has growing cultural and people-to-people relationships. I haven't seen any more volunteering hands. So shall I presume that we do not have any more extempo speakers? If we can assume that, then we will be going towards the final part of our program. We have with us today Mr. Khurshid Alam, who is Secretary of the Maritime Affairs Unit of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I would like to just ask him if he would like to put on a few comments about today's discussion.
Thank you very much, Barrister Shah Ali Farhad. Honorable Foreign Minister, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen from home and abroad, thank you very much for your participation to today's event organized by the International Subcommittee of the Awami League. We are all pleased to be here today, and what we have seen through the I can say through both the book and as well as the video, it actually speaks volume about the progress we have made, which have been abundantly made clear by our Honorable Foreign Minister. And that has been possible only because of the right kind of personality in the helm of the affairs of the country, which is the Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh and daughter of the greatest Bengali in the Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Let me, Barrister Farhad, digress a little bit, because you have seen behind me is the sea, and that's what sometime in your book and your speeches, we tend to forget, because somehow it is Nadimatrik Bangladesh. We all have studied Nadimatrik Bangladesh. So wherever the river finishes, we think that Bangladesh also finishes. But that's not the case. It was Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman who actually enacted an act in 1974, which is called the Territorial Waters and Maritime Zones Act. Even before the Law of the Sea Convention came into being in 1982, where what was the idea of that act was that Bangladesh is a thickly populated country. We need the resources of the Bay of Bengal more than anybody else. So even in 1974, as early as that, he visualized that this is a component we cannot ignore. And if we do ignore, it would be at the peril of our nation. And that's why that act was enacted, and we established our rights up to 200 nautical miles of exclusive economic zone with all the living and non-living resources. I will also go back a little bit, just Today, Minister Farhad, as you know, we have $90 billion over dollar of business. How this business is going abroad? Even during the pandemic, nothing has stopped, you know. Because of this pandemic, all our ports were operational, and all the $90 billion worth of export and import have been carried, of course, by the foreign ships. Around 4,664 ships actually visited our ports of Mongla, Chittagong, and Paira. And because of that, you see, within the country, we do not feel the impact of the garments and other big industries. The little bit of, the injection, the COVID vaccine, whatever you see, it has come through the air. Yeah, we are fine with it. We thank our neighbors and all those countries who have helped us. But the bulk of our trade is happening behind the human scene. And this was realized by Bangabandhu even when he just arrived from Pakistan in Bangladesh on the 10th of January 1972. When he came, he was the first to realize that our ports need to be operational. Because at that time, both Port of Chittagong and Port of Mongla was non-operational because of the shipwrecks and mining by the Pakistani authorities. So no ship could go out and come in. So in fact, he waited. There was an office in Bangladesh called United Nations Relief Operations Office in Dhaka, UNRWA. So to actually remove the
Affairs unit. I can't see him on the list, so that must mean he must have been disconnected somehow. So as we do not have much time, we'll go straight away to the concluding remarks. My apologies that we could not listen to the final part of his speech, but let me ask to say a few words to someone who is usually very quiet during the seminars. He listens very attentively to every word which is said, but he is one of our finest diplomats of independent Bangladesh. He is the chairman of the International Affairs Subcommittee of Bangladesh Awami League, as well as a member of the Advisory Council of Bangladesh Awami League. Ambassador Zamir has always kindly guided us in compiling all the resources and editing all the resources that we do. We are grateful for the guidance we receive from him regularly. So without any delay, I would now like to go to the chairman of the International Affairs Subcommittee of Bangladesh Awami League and the very respected diplomat, Ambassador Mohammad Zamir, sir.
Thank you very much, and particularly to you, Shah Farah, and also to Dr. Shammi, and His Excellency, the Foreign Minister. All of you have worked very hard, and my congratulations and felicitations for all the success I've noticed while I've been listening quietly. Being quiet allows you to listen and to think. I was just thinking that contrary to comments which had been made by Henry Kissinger, as it was projected as a bottomless basket case nearly 50 years ago, today, thanks to the Bangabandhu's efforts for the reconstruction of the war-ravaged country, and subsequently, as we have seen under the fabulous leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, we have today become a model for growth and sustainable development. I was watching the video and the documentary and also the launching of the book, the publication. My particular thanks to both Dr. Shammi and yourself, Farhad, for having been able to do it. I'm reminded here of my days with Bangabandhu when I was a chef de cabinet in 1972. And I watched how he took the very serious step of requesting Prime Minister Indira Gandhi at that time. And my friend at that time was Salman Haider, who was the private secretary to Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, and how the whole process started a reconstruction of Bangladesh. And I still remember how he insisted that the publication, which would be called Bangladesh, which is going to come out on the first anniversary of our Victory Day in December 1972, he said that, yes, there will be one photograph there of the Hardinge Bridge, which has collapsed because of the war, and another one of Hardinge Bridge, which has been reconstructed with the help of India. So that was a very symbolical approach towards the whole process. I still remember how Bangabandhu was a great fond lover of China. He remembered China and his visits to China, and he had hoped that China would come forward, and China subsequently did. So I thank also China for their proactive effort. And here I must point out that as we have heard the Turkish ambassador, as we have heard all the others, and as Honorable Foreign Minister has pointed out, there has been a major and complete recovery in Bangladesh beyond 2019, despite the COVID epidemic, because of, it's not epidemic, it's pandemic, I'm sorry, and because of the very important issues which have come forward. Now, here I would like all of you to think that the population of United States is just about the double of Bangladesh. But today, even today in Bangladesh, the total number of people who have unfortunately passed away because of the pandemic is about 8,000, as compared to more than 400,000 in the United States. And that shows how we have been able to move forward with our own serious efforts to contain the epidemic and the pandemic. And now again, thanks to India, we have started the vaccination program, and we are hoping that this will also encourage us to have a multifaceted approach where we can all help each other all over South Asia and all over Southeast Asia and the Far East, so that we can move forward together. Because I remember Prime Minister Modi telling me when we were meeting and sitting next to each other in Goa in a conclave, he said, Ambassador Saab, you must remember, the glass is never half empty. It is always half full. And then he said, if you take a glass of, I remember telling this to the Indian High Commissioner once, and this was that you take a glass with half filled with water and let a rose float in that water and cover the glass. The rose will still live even if you cover the glass, because that half empty space is oxygen. And that oxygen makes the glass 3/4 full. So for all of us, we must remember that we need to work together. And if we work together, we can overcome our difficulties, our challenges, and we can move together forward. So I'm particularly very grateful to also Admiral Khurshid Alam, because he has pointed to the sea and to the blue economy and the efforts made in this regard, starting from the time of Bangabandhu and now again. So thank you very much for referring to that. I was going to mention, but you have done it. So thank you very much. And may I thank you, Farhad, because when you are putting the publication on our web portal, I hope you will also download it in the form of DVDs and CDs. It doesn't cost very much. It will cost you about 40 takas per CD. And then you should send it to our foreign ministry. And I see the foreign minister appreciating that. And we can send it out by diplomatic bag to all our missions all over the world, so that it can be kept in their archives and people can come look at it when they come and visit our diplomatic missions, the embassies, the sub-missions, and also the deputy missions. And in addition to that, it will be very useful to have some of the translations made, for example, in Arabic, in Spanish, in French, in Chinese, and then sent there, so that it should be available on the web portal. So in case anyone wants to see it with this translation as subtitles, that will help us to improve our felicitation method. So I don't want to take it on any longer, but I want to just mention one small thing before I finish. Sheikh Hasina has carried on something which her father so distinguishably did, which is removing discrimination based on religious groups, caste, or gender, and misuse of religion in politics. Now, this is very important, and this has helped in improving the living conditions of marginalized people. So I'm hoping that all of you will look into that. And of course, I've not mentioned about the Rohingya, but that is where we expect everyone to come forward. I can see the foreign minister has already done a lot. If necessary, we can then arrange for our heads of missions here to visit Bhashan Char to go and see for themselves how the Rohingyas are living, because a lot of unnecessary misuse of terms are being used by many, saying that they have been forced to stay there in difficult conditions. No. I've been talking to various groups of people, and they're very, very happy. For the first time, the families are living together. And there's something which they should go and see. So if possible, I think our Honorable Foreign Minister may like to arrange this for those who want to go from the diplomatic community. They should be taken to Bhashan Char to see for themselves the whole condition. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Mohammad Zamir, Chairman of the International Affairs Subcommittee of Bangladesh Awami League. Especially thank you, sir, for the suggestions that you gave us to further consolidate our works with the committee, as well as the encouraging words you always have for us and the efforts we put in. It's always a pleasure listening to you, sir, because I get to learn something new every time. Ladies and gentlemen, dear viewers, excellencies, we have reached the end of our webinar today. I would like to once again thank our foreign friends and partners who have joined us today, in particular, His Excellency, the Ambassador of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, His Excellency, the Ambassador of China to Bangladesh, His Excellency, the Ambassador of Algeria to Bangladesh, His Excellency, the High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, and His Excellency, the Ambassador of Vietnam to Bangladesh, and of course, His Excellency, the Turkish Ambassador to Bangladesh, as well as our friends who joined us from the various diplomatic missions and international organizations. I noticed that I forgot to mention that there was a representative present with us from the Japanese embassy in Bangladesh. So we thank the Japanese embassy for sending in their representative, and also because of the friendship and partnership that we have, a strong friendship and partnership that we have with Japan. We have reached the end of our program. As I said earlier,
I just want to thank Ambassador Jamil for the good suggestion. Very good suggestion. Thank you, Ambassador Jamil. Thank you.
Now that I have the suggestion endorsed by the Honorable Foreign Minister himself, so that means the top two people of the foreign policy of Awami League wants it to happen, and I'll make sure that it does happen. And thank you, of course, to our Honorable Foreign Minister, who is always very encouraging for the activities of the committee. He always makes time for us. There hasn't been a single instance where we have not been able to connect with him. We thank you for your guidance and your support, sir. Of course, we thank the people involved with the organizing of this program, my colleagues at the International Affairs Subcommittee of Bangladesh Awami League, and of course, to the very supportive Dr. Shammi Ahmed, the International Affairs Secretary, who is always encouraging us to push our limits and push our boundaries and ensure that we improve our quality with every single attempt. Ladies and gentlemen, as I was about to say, the video that we saw today and the booklet that has been launched will all be available in the official social media platforms of Bangladesh Awami League as well as its website. So we will make sure that you do receive the printed copies as well as the PDF and abridged versions in your email. We thank you again for the time and patience. And of course, we are very glad that our foreign friends and partners not only are our friends and partners in development issues, but also in such ideological and historical issues as the father of the nation, the independence of Bangladesh, etc. We thank you for that, and we are grateful for all your support. Dear viewers, this is the end of our live transmission for tonight. We hope all of you good health, and we want to appeal through all the distinguished guests present here today that the least developed and developing countries need their support in terms of the COVID-19 vaccination throughout the world. There was a report yesterday which said that if the advanced developed countries do not support the low-income countries in terms of vaccination, in the end, it would be the developed countries who would be paying for it in the future. So this was a report which came out yesterday and was cited in the New York Times newspaper. So let us hope that we can all help out each other as we have done over the last around 1 year in the COVID crisis. We stood besides each other, and we continue to do that and make sure that everyone is safe, because otherwise no one will be. So thank you very much. Good evening from the International Affairs Subcommittee. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu, may Bangladesh live forever.